on so we can test out this new camera. Alright, here we go. Alright. Cookie, quit. Alright, I always like to start with Dive Man first because he's normally one of the later ones you go to, but there's places in the game where I've discovered, especially when you're fighting flying enemies, that dive missile comes in pretty handy. Otherwise, it's pretty useless. But for me, for doing speed runs, which I'm still kind of early into the speed run process, you know, as far as getting better at it, more efficient, that dive missile seems to help out quite a bit. I'm actually pleased this camera seems to be, looks pretty good as far as quality. I don't know if there's any audio coming through it or not, but we'll find out here when I go back and look at it later. And normally, since I started doing these speed runs, there's a couple of adapters you can get. There's one here, and there's another one in Pharaoh Man stage, the wire and the balloon adapters, but I've kind of just started skipping those just to make my time more. To do this, I find more and more little shortcuts that I can take to kind of speed up my time a little bit. So like normally right across here is where you would go and get your wire adapter, where you fall down and try to dodge the spikes and then get it, but it sets you back quite a few rooms. So I just kind of skip all that together. As long as you have, you know, rush coil and rush jet, and there's really not much purpose for the rest. But your wire coil is right down there in that hole. See, I know there's places in there where I could probably shave some time off my my run. Then Dive Man here, like if you don't know his pattern, he can be pretty devastating and he can kill you pretty quickly. But I've learned if you just go to the complete opposite side of the room, he'll give you time to kind of wail on him a little bit. He won't immediately just dash back at you again. So just jump and get all the way over. You'll have time to charge up a shot. Plus, just get into business. See there, I didn't get over there quick enough. There we go. And I like to try to aim a Mega Man guy towards the middle of the room after you defeat a boss, so that whenever you're finishing the stage here, he's already in the middle, doesn't have to walk to the middle. I mean, it may only save a second or two, but just little things that I picked up along the way to kind of make my time a little better. And then from here, I just pretty much go through the standard order. I mean, once you've got one weapon that works on another boss, you just use it and put him down as quick as you can. On the old school NES, the Mega Man 2 through 5 has some of my favorite soundtracks of any game I've ever played. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good NES soundtracks, but just something about Mega Man 2, 3, 4, and 5, those soundtracks are just, I don't know, maybe it's some nostalgia. might be in there. Like those guys there, this dive missile works really well for. When it tracks them half right, of course. See, here, a lot of times I would just use that wire, but that works the same, and you don't have to backtrack any. A lot of times I'll just skip that just because it takes a second to go up there and get it, and more times than not, if I'm playing the game well like I normally should, I can just about play the entire game, even speed running, without even using an energy tank, more times than not. Sometimes later on, late in the game, you may have to pull one out, but early on, rarely I have to use an energy tank, like I said, unless I'm just, you know, short on energy, or the God forbid Brightman fight with those flash stops that he does. Here we go, Drill Man fight. Of course. Not bad, that was pretty quick. You got Drill Bomb. Oh, and probably one of the easiest bosses in all of Mega Man is Toad Man. I don't think he's ever killed me once. At most, he's maybe hit me maybe one time. You know, I'm just screwing around. You know, he may touch me once, just goofing off, but for the most part, he's pretty easy. And usually, if normal situation, that would be a good one to go to first, just because of how easy he is. But his weapon, not all that useful. You'd think it would be, considering it's it covers the entire screen when you use it, but I haven't really used it all that very many times, other than to fight Brightman with. There might be something I may experiment with later, and just see if I can find something that kind of helps me move the game along a little quicker. But as it stands, I haven't found that spot yet. So I'm gonna kill Toad Man, and then I'm gonna fight Brightman, and then I'm gonna go back and look at this video, considering this is the first one I've done with commentary with this camera that I just bought. So after that, I may come back later and finish the game. But this is just more of a trial run with the camera. I just want to see how it works. And so far, the video part of it, from what I peeked up there in the corners, doesn't look terrible. It looks okay. Pretty cool. Never thought in a million years I'd be broadcasting video games and doing commentary on them. At first, I was just playing without the camera, and that was kind of cool. But you know, maybe talking through these might be a little better, maybe for some folks. And I want to also, the more I do this, I want to kind of share some of my stories with some of these games growing up, because this was my childhood right here. I remember this came out, I think I was maybe 9 or 10. I was born in 80, I think this was 1990, so this was definitely my childhood. And I remember my uncle getting into these about the same time that I did, and man, whenever a new one would come out, he would be notorious about freaking hiding them, or, you know, hiding them and finishing the game, and then after he finishes, he'd let me know that he had it, because he had this thing about wanting to finish games before I did, because normally on an even playing ground, if we both start at the same time, we both know, you know, between the two of us, who generally finished games first. But, and I can understand hiding them, you know, so you can kind of get something out of it before your nephew comes in and ruins it for you. But I always thought that was kind of cool too, so when the surprise would come out of the closet, or, you know, come into the room unexpectedly, I'd be playing Mega Man 3 and all of a sudden he'd bust out and say, hey, why don't we try this? And I'd freaking lose my damn mind, just because anytime a new Mega Man or Castlevania game come out back in the day, and even now, I mean, I would just literally just lose my mind. I could just remember how it was like being a child then. It's one of my, you know, more pleasant memories, you know, growing up, and I can still kind of hold on to that a little bit even today when new games come out. I was kind of that way last week, or a week and a half ago, however long it's been now, when Final Fantasy VII Remake came out. I mean, I knew it was coming and all, and I had it reserved, but still, I was kind of giddy like a little, you know, like a little school kid, just because, you know, I've been looking forward to that game for so dang long, and then you finally get it and open it up and put it in, and, you know, you just get so excited and so worked up about it, or at least I do, I guess. But that may seem kind of childish, but I don't care. I enjoy it, and if that's something that makes me happy, then good on me for finding something that makes me happy. The stage here isn't too bad. Again, that's one of those things that just takes time, and working on my speed, you know, I don't need it. I can get through without that stuff. And sometimes I have been known to, instead of going this route at the beginning of this section, instead of jumping on these grasshoppers, just taking Rush Jet and flying all the way to the top and just flying over this business. But if you do that, make sure you fly at the very top, because those totem poles, I found this out recently, those things can actually jump off the ground, and they'll just about reach you at the ceiling, so that's why you have to fly very high. Otherwise they can hit you and potentially knock you off your jet, you know, if you don't do it right. This is a good place for dive whipping too, I discovered. Pretty handy. You don't have to be dead on accurate with your Mega Buster with this. You know, you can just kind of jump across, and as you're going, just shoot your missile as you need to, and more times than not, that was scary, I can't believe I made that. More times than not, you'll get across it. Okay, that was not too bad. So I'm going to wrap up this session, hopefully defeating Brightman without having to use an E-Tank. So we're going to see, and then I'm going to go back and revisit the video and just see how the quality is, see how awful my voice sounds on here. When I go back and hear my voice after it's been recorded, sometimes I don't like it, because to me it just seems weird, sounds weird. So we're going to find out. I hate you. He had to get his hit in. Okay, there we go. Alright, so I'm going to let that run through its process, and then I'm going to go back and look at the video, see how it looks. I'm curious. But for anybody who has watched this and wants to see more, almost every night between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern, I'm almost always on here doing something. Sometimes it may be a new game, like I've been doing a lot of Final Fantasy VII Remake lately. I play a lot of the old school Castlevania games. I play a lot of old school stuff, just whatever I can get on my PS4 right now. So, anyways, I appreciated the view, and I'll see you cool cats later on.